Hello, welcome to 10.7, Latitude and Longitude. I just want to let you know this is a relationship between math and geography, and I'm sure that you already know something about latitude and longitude, but we have talked briefly about the Earth being nearly spherical. The diameter of the Earth from the North Pole to the South Pole is 7,885 miles. And the diameter at the equator is about 7,912 miles. So there's 27 miles difference between the Great Circle from North to South Pole and the equator. But if you just consider the size of the Earth, it's such a small fraction of what the Earth is total. We are just going to consider the Earth being a sphere from now on. Okay, so here is the sphere that we are going to call Earth. And when we have the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere are divided by the equator, the semicircle called the prime meridian goes through the city of Greenwich, England, and this is a latitudinal line. If you talk about the other circle, or the other half of the great circle that goes through the North and South Pole, it's called the international date line. You can actually travel the Earth, cross the international date line going one direction, and land in an airplane before you left, which that kind of can boggle your mind. You can also do the opposite. If you go the other way on the international date line, you can leave, you maybe have a 4 or 5 hour flight and you actually lost an entire day. So the international date line is where time zones begin. So like we mentioned, the equator separates the Earth into the northern hemisphere and into the southern hemisphere. The prime meridian and the international date line separate the globe into the eastern hemisphere and into the western hemisphere. So if you put these all together, you've actually quartered the Earth into 4 quarters. Now, every longitudinal line creates a great circle. So no matter how I slice the Earth north to south, I will have a great circle. That is not true, however, for latitudinal lines. As you notice, each one of these circles has a different diameter, a different radius, so the only great circle latitudinal wise is the equator. That word is really hard for me to say. So all longitudinal lines are great circles. The equator is the only latitudinal line that is a great circle. So that's just a little summary of what we were displaying there. Okay, so latitude is the degree measure of the arc from the equator to a particular location. Longitude is measured according to degree measure east or west from the prime meridian. So when we talk about location on the Earth, when you are reading latitude and longitude directional degrees, that is what you are actually doing. So the prime meridian, anything east so the prime meridian is 0 degrees, and also the equator is 0 degrees. So if you think of that as your origin, 0, 0 at the prime meridian equator intersection, then you move from there, just like you do on a coordinate grid. In the equator, of course, you go north and south from there. And that's the entire lesson. So I just want to let you know that there is an example on page 449 that talks about what city is located at 30 degrees north latitude and 90 degrees west latitude. So if you move in those directions, starting at the equator and starting at the prime meridian, and you move 30 degrees north and then 90 degrees west along that 30 degree north, then you're actually going to land in New Orleans, which is located at that the intersection of 30 degree north, 90 degree west. So we aren't going to practice this much on a map. We have an app that is on your LearnPad, so it's very important that you come to class tomorrow with your LearnPad charged and ready to go so that we can use our world atlas on the app. And we can literally type in coordinates and it'll give us a city. We can type in a city and it'll give us coordinates. So it's very helpful to us. Okay, so your WISP summary today, I want you to look up the word projection. And you can look it up in dictionary.com, but I would also encourage you to look at it up on encyclopedia style website. And I want you to explain 4 properties that are needed when you are projecting from a sphere onto a plane to make a map. Because a map is a 2D representation of a 3D Earth. And so there's some really important things you have to do, especially with latitude and longitude. So I want you to look that up and email it to me, and I will see you in class.